Hello, beautiful you. I'm Ismael Cala. I am so happy to be here as part of this amazing ASPIKA Talks series and this ASPIKA community. I want to say thank you to all of you for being part of this extraordinary community or tribe, as I prefer to name it. And thank you so much to ASPIKA, to Rita Hernandez, my beautiful friend, an excellent human being, founder of ASPIKA, and Gabriel Rubalcaba, co-founder of ASPIKA. So I'm here to talk about my story because my story probably is a story of so many other beautiful human beings that started very early on in their lives to make sense of who they were, who they are, and who they would like to become in life. And I want to say that I consider myself neurodiverse, and I'm so proud of it. Because when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, actually, I didn't know what to do with my brain. I didn't know how to understand how my mind functioned. And it was not a good moment of my life. At that moment, I felt that I couldn't control the direction of my thoughts. So when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, I have to tell you, I had a very, very, very negative way of thinking, a very negative and toxic, private, inner dialogue, talking to myself in the mirror. And it all started with the shame and that sensation of there is something wrong with this family, because when I was a kid, my family coming from the suicide of my grandfather, my father's father, and then when I was 12 or 13 years old, the suicide of my aunt, my father's sister, it became like a snowball of, shh, let's not talk about this. Do not ask your father about his condition. What condition? What condition? I said, what condition? Well, your father is ill. He's suffering from schizophrenia. My father was a brilliant chemical engineer, specialized in sugarcane industry, and it was brilliant. But before he turned 40, a medical commission said, well, you are not well enough to continue producing and working. And I understood that, that condition or whatever with the mind and the brain is out there, which is a spectrum. It's never one thing. It's a spectrum of conditions and situations and challenges. That was not the main problem. I understood that. The main problem for me was that I couldn't speak about it. I couldn't ask, what's going on? I need to understand my mind. Imagine that when I was 15 years old, that age that we need really to understand ourselves, and actually we're trying to create our own identity. We want to feel that we are not our mom, we are not our dad, we are not our teachers, we are not even society. We want to be, I am something different. I was 15 and I had to visit my father at a psychiatric ward in a hospital. And actually that was synchro destino or synchro destiny, because when I came to the room, he was being pulled in after receiving electroshocks. And for me, was a major shock, an emotional shock, seeing my father after receiving that treatment, getting into the room and not being able to answer me when I said, Papa, how do you feel? And I was 15. And then I kind of closed myself in fear. It was the fear of seeing that probably what I was feeling inside, the disorientation within my brain and my toxic way of thinking. I was even experimenting paranoia, hallucinations, nightmares. And my mom brought me to a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist prescribed a medication, clorodiazepóxido in Spanish. That was the name of the drug back then in Cuba. And it's so important for me to tell you that we are all human beings unique. And the main medicine and treatment is love. Love. Accepting who you are. You know, I didn't want to accept that I was different. I wanted to be average. I wanted to be one of many. Because I noticed that my difference at the moment made me weird in the eyes of so many other people. What's wrong with him? Was the question of so many relatives, and I heard them. So I'm telling you this because now I consider myself a very, very successful human being. Not only professionally, being an anchor for so many years at CNN in Spanish, being an accomplished best-selling author in Spanish, and a speaker, an international speaker. No, I consider a very successful human being of Ismael as a human being. Why? Because I believe that I understood that I should become more loving to myself, less critical. I had to heal the inner voice that was talking inside my head saying, there is something wrong with you. There was something different, but nothing wrong. And that's my message. You probably feel that there is something different. The way you see the world, the way your brain works, the way your mind works, and that's probably accurate. Not necessarily there is something wrong about you or within you, because we are all unique. ASPIKA is celebrating uniqueness. And probably what other people think it's your weirdness, it's your advantage point. That's where your creative genius dwells. It's in whatever is weird among us that makes us different, that makes us unique. You know, Ismael back then felt that probably he didn't have anything positive looking forward to the future. And that's really, really sad because, I mean, look what happened. Look what happened. I understood that I had to relax. I understood that I had to love myself more. I understood that nobody has any power with his or her opinion to condition my truth, who I am. And we are unique, loving, caring, forgiving beings. That's what we are. Beyond labels, beyond expectations of others, even our closest friends or family members. So you have to understand, and this is the secret to life, that nobody else can define you. That's something that, unfortunately is not part of the curricula at school. We have to look for the answers. So I want to say that I free myself and I started to really, really enjoy life when I said to myself, there is no shame. There is no shame in suicides. There is no shame in schizophrenia. There is no shame in depression. There is no shame in autism. There is no shame in whatever is the name of the condition I have or somebody else has. The shame is the sickening factor. The shame is worse than the disorder or the special condition or the special skill or ability. Because to tell you the truth, now I really celebrate the uniqueness of my brain. I really celebrate that I have a mind that is a beautiful, amazing mind that gets sometimes disoriented, dispersed, Sometimes I need to change activity because I understand that my mind doesn't focus, and it's okay. It's okay. I play now with my mind, with my brain. We have to understand that neurosciences now tell us that the brain that we were born with not necessarily is the brain that we will have tomorrow or the brain that we also have today. Neuroplasticity. That's beautiful because you're responsible of the input, the things that you allow and you believe to put in the central IMAX screen in 3D in front of your mind. That's why we have imagination. That's why we have vision. That's why we have the opportunity to understand that our origin is just predisposition. Yeah, genes matter. But epigenetics says to you, you are not only determined by your genes, you are conditioned also by your decisions. You are conditioned by your lifestyle, by the way you think, but the things that you allow to come to you. So please, and I'm talking to you, Ismael. Yeah, that is Ismael at 15 years old. Don't worry. Get out of your head. Don't think too much. Breathe more. Because when I discovered mindfulness, my relationship with Deepak Chopra, my mentor, my friend, now I am doing things in English. I'm doing speaking gigs at his retreats in English. With Deepak, I understood that if I breathe and if I open my heart, my mind and my brain will obey. So, if you feel different up here, come to the center of your heart. Close your eyes, and come to the center of your heart. Because if your heart is telling you, I love you, you are special, you are different, you are unique, you have nothing to worry about thoughts in your mind. Living from the heart has been for me the medicine to not trust necessarily all the thoughts passing by the space of my mind. Because every human being has brightness, a genius inside, but also the shadow. And the shadow is that space of your mind and your brain, and this is happening to every single human being. The shadow is that space where you see and hear dark thoughts, self-destructive thoughts. I mean, egocentric thoughts, demoralizing you, comparing you with others. So when you hear them, play with them. Say, thank you for coming. I let you go. Let them flow. Let them go. And breathe. I'm not my mind. I'm not even my body. I am a being infinite in love, forgiveness, compassion, understanding. If you understand that, your heart will be the guide to your mind. And this is better than any drug. This is better than any other thing that we can do for ourselves. So please, in this beautiful space that is ASPIKA Talks, I just want to say I am Ismael Cala. I am very proud of being neurodiverse. I am very proud of being weird in the sense of so many other kids that told me, eres raro, you're weird. And in Spanish, I have a beautiful phrase. It's, en tu rareza está tu grandeza. It sounds better in Spanish, but it means in English that what makes you weird makes you great. So I love that. I love that because now I don't want to be average. Now I don't want to have any other kind of brain because this is the one that was chosen for me. So this is the one that I have to keep improving every single day. Now that I understand that it's my responsibility to know that I can do something to optimize how my brain works, how my thoughts are organized. Thank you so much for this beautiful opportunity. Thank you to my ancestors. You know, your struggle, dad, grandfather, aunt, your struggle is my inspiration. Your struggle in times of poor diagnosis of these brain disorders or mental illnesses, because there is a spectrum. Sometimes it's a brain disorder of the organ not functioning properly. And sometimes it's just a mind that is not well trained to think positive, to create optimism. Whatever it is, and this is only about mental health, but we have in ASPIKA so many other different abilities. This is the beauty of who we are in this amazing community. People who celebrate uniqueness, people who celebrate and embrace the uncertainty of discovering every single day something to love about themselves, about ourselves. So thank you for this amazing opportunity. Thank you, and allow yourself to do this with me. The 3 S's in Spanish. Sentir, just take a breath. Soltar, let go. Sonreír. Smile from the center of your heart. Touch your heart. Touch your heart. Do you feel the beat? The pulse? That's who you are. No labels. Zero judgment. Pure love. Pure light. Infinite. That's who you are. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for this beautiful opportunity to get to you, heart to heart. So, sometimes if you think you can't trust your mind, please come here and trust your heart. Thank you. See you soon.